Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. In this one we're going to be doing emergency puppetry. Sometimes you haven't got a puppet on hand, but you do have at a Goodwill store or something a fluffy toy like this one. So let's, and you can just put a mouth in it and there we have puppet. So emergency puppetry, let's get started. Now some friends of mine want me to put a mouth into these ones. This one is the second one. They've got this from a second-hand store, a Goodwill store. Now you must keep in mind that every design of a toy like this actually is copyright. The design belongs to someone. But if it was made in China, the design's probably stolen anyway. So let it be up to your conscience. For my friends, I'm going to do them the favour of putting the mouth in. Now, a consideration when you get your fluffy toy is, are you going to have enough space to get your thumb and top part into there and have enough depth in the mouth for it to actually open and close properly? This one, I think, will make it if we extend the mouth right back to here. We're going to make a cut in there and we're going to get a piece of card, measure the width of it and also the height, and cut the shape of the mouth, sort of like this. Now I'm using a 2mm stiff card. 2 to 3 millimeters is enough, I think, for this application, and we're going to make two of them opposite like that, butt them together, and then with some Elmer's white glue on top of that, spread it all out, except for the last 5mm or 1/4 inch, and then glue a cloth on top. When it's dry, trim it around and you'll get a mouthpiece like this, joint there, and the last 5mm or 1/4 inch, try not to glue that so that we have a border that we can now do our seam, our sewing along that edge. Now get the patient ready and your scalpel ready for the operation. Apply anesthesia. Okay, when they're asleep, we're going to go to the rear end here and open up a hole in the butt there so that I can get my hand in and pull out some of the stuffing, so that we're going to be able to get our hand up to the snout up there. Okay, good. Now the snout, we need to open that as well, and that mouthpiece is going to fit in there, and as you can see, it's going to go from this point to that point, straight across. We're going to, from here to there, cut that with the scalpel and a pair of scissors if you need to, in a straight line. In this case, I'm going to remove the bits of red mouth there, cut that out, and take out some of that. And I want to be sure that it basically fits in that hole there, not too tight. Now, to make it more comfortable and so that everything lasts longer and is more professional, we're going to make a lining out of cloth so that that will be lined up the center of the toy. So I'm going to get a piece of material that's going to do enough for that, a tube, the glove that goes up the center, and then a little piece that I'm going to make the mouthpiece out of. And make it exactly the same size as your mouthpiece. Cut that out. With some pins, I'm going to double that over and over again into quarters and place pins at the quarters through there, and another one back so that I now have the 4 quadrants marked. Similarly on the tube, double that over and mark that with pins. To find halfway And there we have it. The 1, 2. Then I'm going to line up and pin those 4 quadrants, or the 2 wider ones, and then pin it round and round and round until you have that to there. So there we have it in there, and at the last pin here, allowing for a seam, I'm going to trim that back of it on both sides. Now with a sewing machine or by hand, I'm going to sew down here first, down the outside seam there, then face down, zoom right round in a circle to sew that mouthpiece into the sock. Now that the nurses have prepared the intestine insertion and the mouth plate is ready, the patient is still under anesthesia, we can now glue that on to the back of that mouthpiece. And apply some clamps so that dries right out to the edge. Double check also that there are no wrinkles on the cardboard that are going to feel uncomfortable while you're manipulating the puppet, so that's okay, and let that dry while the patient is still anaesthetized. When that sock is dry, I'm just going to pull it through so that it goes into position. Instead of pinning that in there, I'm just going to use a needle and thread to put some temporary stitches in the 2 corners of the mouth and one at the top and bottom, just to hold it in position so it doesn't go out of place. Fur fabric is very forgiving in the sewing. So we're going to do I think it's a ladder stitch, or what they call it in pup world, the Henson stitch. You're going to go from the center outwards, come back in to the center, go in an outwards direction through the mouth, and then back through the center. So it forms an X, and when you pull it, it pulls the fabric to a single line, no matter how far you go out into the other fabric. It is very forgiving, this stitch. So we're going to come back through here, try and be even of course, but it's a stitch that really covers a multitude of sins. Go from the center outwards, then the other piece from the center outwards. And then when you pull it together, it will bring the 2 together at a decent line here. Now what's left is to stitch the bottom end here. The patient will remain with an enlarged rectum, but well, that can't be helped. So when the anaesthetic wears off in about half an hour's work, you should have a puppet that's ready to go with a movable mouth and movable all round. Puppets, emergency puppets. Oh.